Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever and whenever you're watching this video. Today I'm gonna make a slightly lengthy video about creating a free personal website on GitHub pages. So I think it would be pretty cool for anyone, regardless of their field, to have their own website. If you're a doctor, if you're an engineer, and more so if you're working in the IT field, programmers, whatever it is, you should have your own website. And as an employer, I'm not an employer, by the way, I'm open to work. But yeah, I believe that any employer would find it somewhat interesting if they see on your resume a link to your website, or you can just send them your website through the email. Hey, check out my website. So that being said, there are a few requirements. Number one is you need to have an email account. You need to have a GitHub account, and yeah, I will make within the video how to link your local work area, meaning your computer, to that GitHub account. And then we are going to create that website and yeah, have it live. So to move on, I just want to roughly explain what makes up a website. Generally, you would need to create that website, right? To have the codes, to have the HTML, CSS that makes up the website itself. And that website would need to be placed somewhere. It can be on your own computer, for example, which only you can see that website if it's on your computer. Or maybe if you're in a house and you've set up the networking right, then anyone on your network, meaning in your house or in your office, can see that website. That's not very scalable, so you would need to have some form of hosting, which is to put that website on a publicly accessible computer. So that's where GitHub pages comes in. We will upload our code that we created onto GitHub pages so that it is accessible from anywhere on the internet. Now, for the website creation, you can obviously hire someone, use some free or paid tools, for example Canva. There's a popular one, Wix. Yeah, a lot of different tools, and you can also just create yourself for free. In this video, I'm gonna copy a template from someone else and then just edit that content. So that's one part of it, which can be done for free. The hosting part also can be somewhat free on a limited scale, right? And the URL address also can be free unless you want it to be custom. So for example, if I want it to be like bytefana.com, I would need to pay for that URL or address, or else it can be using the GitHub pages link or address that's given. So generally, that's the three things that makes up a website: the website code itself, where you put that website, and the address to that website, all of which can be free with certain limitations here and there. All right, so enough of talking. Let's get straight into GitHub. Alright, so here we are. I've created a GitHub account specifically for this video. This is my username, portfolio web demo, uh, using the email that I have. So make sure you set that up first, and then we'll go through the GitHub pages documentation. First and foremost, head over to GitHub, create a new public repository, name username, where username is your username, if you get what I mean. And here is actually clearly stated the limitation. You get one site per GitHub account. So basically this URL here, username.github.io, will be where your website is, or yeah, anyone who wants to go to your website would need to type your username.github.io. But before that, we need to create a new public repository with that username. So let's open that in the new tab. So my username is portfolio web demo, right? We'll create a new repository with that name. It's available, and make sure it's public. Create repository. Okay, so now we have a empty repository. Next step, what does it say? What Git client are you using? Terminal, GitHub desktop. Okay, yeah, I will put down some links for you to, for Windows user to download a terminal. For Mac users, they should already have a terminal, and then also a link to install Git. In my case, and maybe many of you also already have it, I'm gonna use Microsoft Visual Studio, because from here I can edit the file immediately and also use the terminal down here. So go to the folder where you want to store your project and clone the new repository. I'm gonna create it in downloads. Let me create it here. New folder, portfolio web demo. So this is now an empty folder, and we're gonna sync that with the repository, the Git repository. And first and foremost, you need to go to that folder. So from here, cd to downloads. Where is downloads? Is it capital D? Okay, cd to portfolio web demo. Then git clone the URL. So you can see here HTTPS, SSH also can. Let's use this for now. Copy, paste. Before that, add the command git clone. Boom. So it's cloning an empty repository. Alright, now what we need to do is we can start creating our website and pushing it into that repository, and then go to this link, username.github.io. So at the moment, if I were to go to portfolio webdemo.github.io, there's nothing. Alright, so what I'm gonna do next is, firstly I would need to connect this terminal to the repository so that I can push things there, and we're gonna follow this the SSH way of connection. First step, bear with me. Copy this command. I believe that's the email I use. DefNetMB, okay. Generating, enter file root.ssh. Yep. Override. No. Let me try that again. I'll give it a different name. Web portfolio web demo id underscore portfolio web that's funny, portfolio web demo. Right, leave it empty. There you go. So I've created a secret token which I would need to add to the SSH agent. So let's do that. No. Oh, this is not a sorry, I need to use the Linux command. Okay, and then add the file that I created, which is called id underscore portfolio web demo. Identity added. What's left is for me to add this public key to your GitHub account. Okay, so from the web browser, I'll show you. I can do this first. Now I'm definitely gonna delete all of this, so it's fine to show you the public key. Yeah, .pub. Copy that, and then paste it to your GitHub account, where it should be in settings, password and authentication, SSH and GPG keys. Okay, SSH keys. No, one moment. Settings, new SSH. Okay, that was right. New SSH keys. Title, let's call it portfolio web demo ID, and then paste it here. Add SSH key, and we should be able to connect to it. Let's give it a try. Let's do a git status. Nope. Oh, cd into that first. Git status. Okay, we will try it out once we actually have a file. I'll open that folder here, downloads, portfolio web demo, select folder. So at the moment this folder is empty, right? And I'm gonna create an index.html file right there, and we're gonna try the example they gave just to see if it works or not. Hello world. Okay, I'm gonna write hello world. That's all that our website will have at the moment. Save that. Okay, oops, need to change to the Linux. Git status. Alright, so this file's untracked, we should add it. Let's just do git add all git status. Okay, it noticed some changes. So before it was empty, now there's some hello world there, so we need to add that and commit. Let's give it a message or a note. First commit or first website. Git commit. Now git push origin head username. Alright, we have an issue. Alright guys, so I fixed it. The issue was simply that I had to, when we cloned the URL, we didn't quite set the URL to push for the SSH connection. So this is what I added: git remote set URL origin and the SSH address for that repository. And after that I could git push, and we're gonna check it out now. So this is my repository. Let me refresh. There should be the index.html file. Yep, it's there. And there's hello world there. And let's talk about the template. So this is at the moment you only have this index.html, and this is the only code that you have. What you can do is to search on Google for free templates. So for example, portfolio project, simple folio. There are many examples of websites that you can try. Let's take the first one. Alright, so index.html, app.js. Let me see what that is. Styles. Okay, basically we're gonna need to have all these files to make up that website. Let's just download everything first. Download zip. Yeah, we can do that. Show all download. Let me go to downloads. Unpack that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add all these files except for the .gitignore, copy that and put it into my repository. Okay, so it should be here. I'm gonna remove my own index.html file, paste that. Let's check our, there you go. So you can see all the files are here. This is the code for the website, and let's add it all. To our repository. This is our local repository. We're making changes, so we need to push it to the remote repository. Give it a message. Portfolio website template, and then let's push it. Git push. Okay, we check if those files are now here. Alright, so we have all those files here at the moment, and this is supposed to work, but it isn't working, so let's give it some time to propagate throughout the internet. Alright guys, so I made a mistake. That's for rushing through the steps. I emphasized that the repository name has to be username.github.io, where username is your username. And guess what? That was where I made a mistake. So portfolio web demo was my repository before this, and it's not sufficient because the repository name itself must include this .github.io. All I did was to go to settings and changed it here, rename, boom, look at that, portfolio web demo.github.io. If you are fast enough watching this video after I upload, this site might still be up, but of course this I'm not Solano Milan Diaz. You can change that here. So let's say your name is, hi, I am Ayub, for example, and I am a software engineer. Just to give you a bit of a demonstration of how you edit this template. So I do a git add, git commit, let's say edited name, then do a git push, give it some time, and while we are at it, remember what we had was basically an email address, a GitHub account, a free template that we took off here, and as you can see, we do have pretty much a website ready for free without paying a single cent. Now, if for example you want this to be like portfoliowebdemo.com or your own name, ayub.com, so that's where the money comes in. Going back to our PowerPoint just now, there are three parts of what makes up a website. First is the website itself, those codes that you see here, which you can copy paste, edit here and there, build your own, use some paid tools, whatever it is, it can be free. The hosting itself, which is, as you can see, we've hosted it on GitHub pages. You can host it somewhere else and also pay for it, and also have no limitations, or yeah. And the only thing that is left is this URL or address. So your URL or address will always have this .github.io, and there's no way around this. If you want to have your own URL, you're gonna have to pay for a domain address name, and that one you can search it up where to get cheap domains. For example, name silo is gonna cost you, let's check it out, Ayub software, let's say search domain. So that's ayubsoftware.com for $13, ayubapplications.com, ayubapplications.info, whatever it is. There are many different places to buy a domain name, and from there, in the GitHub pages documentation themselves, they do have another documentation on how to point this new domain name that you purchased, that is custom, to this GitHub page. Alright, so you're gonna point, let's say you've bought ayubsoftware.com and you want to point it to portfoliowebdemo.github.io. How do you do that? We're not gonna go into it, but here's where you can read more. Alright, so there you go guys. It's now changed to hi, I am Ayub, a software engineer. I had to go in incognito for some reason. The cache was still saving the previous one, but yeah, so that's how it works. All you need to do is change whatever, edit whatever you want over here, push it to the GitHub pages, and refresh the page. That's about it for today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.